guys, welcome to a new episode of Toomuch with Shay
and Becca. Welcome back, guys.
Yes, we've had a long week. Halloween is over. And I hope you guys enjoyed your Halloween. I want to get Rebecca's reaction to these two costumes that I saw on social media that had me thinking a bit. But before we do that, how about we get into our minute rundown?
What's happening? What's happening? Oh, that was cute. Wow. We in tune, mamas.
Period. So I started off last week. So give me your minute rundown.
I got you. Okay, so first thing I want to say, your girl has never voted. And today,
wow. I'm so proud of you.
How we say one step for mankind or something, that little phrase. Yeah. Rebecca felt like she was part of democracy. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a little more hectic. I feel like because everybody went like earlier in the week, like on Monday, Tuesday and stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went in at 11:15. I walked out at 11:18 because I already knew who I was choosing, especially because like they put like what the ballot is gonna look like. So I had looked at that beforehand. So I walked in. He said, "Yeah, you're gonna go right here. Make sure the curtains close." He was real sweet. His name was Henry. Henry, if you ever see this, I hope that your roast beef is always hot. Okay,
roast beef.
Shayla, you know, you and I have had these conversations before, how people get into like sports betting and stuff like that. Girl, I did it. Right? Shayla, I know.
Why would you set yourself up for that?
And the thing is, I made sure no one said anything to you because I wanted to make sure I said it to you on the pod. Okay? So literally, it was, what day was it? I think it was on Tuesday, right? So like my coworker was watching the Yankees game, and so like her brother and her guy friend literally like they've been sports betting for mad long, so they got her into it. She was telling me, and I was like, she was like, Rebecca, you should try it. I was like, you know me, Shayla and I talk about this all the time. I am the type of person, when I get obsessed with something, it's very like there's no self-control, right? So I was like, you know what, fine, Shayla, I spent $65 and made $906 on my first try.
Girl, that's what they get you. I don't care. Easy money is dangerous. The same way it feels real, and that's how you got addicting to it. That's exactly how people be outside selling drugs because it's easy money. You see the stack of cash, and then when you in jail, stuck, then it's like, but
and
the same way you earn them $900, sis, they could come for you to take it right now.
The thing is, right, I learned my lesson. So I went and I did it the second day. Girl, I had like 3 parlays that were like $2,000 if I had won. And there's another one I would have won like $1,000 something dollars. And there's another one I could have won like $3,000. And I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God. Girl, none of my parlays hit. I was so upset. And I had put a parlay out for your team, the Boston Celtics. And
the day you bet on us.
Girl, I said that Jaylen Brown was going to have a double-double. I said Al Horford was going to get 1 block. And I said that, what's his name? Drew Holiday was going to get 1 steal. Mind you, that was not a regular Tuesday, a regular game. That's all that happens. Of course, that day, and mind you, that wasn't going to be my highest parlay. It was. I had won my. I only put $10 down. I could have won $2,750. Girl, ain't nothing hit. That's the day everybody want to go cold. I was so
that's how they get
mad. I was so mad, but I learned my lesson. I'm done. I'm good.
You're not done because you already started. You will bet again. Whether you tell me or not, I know for a fact that you will do it again. I don't, because I know how mad I am. Well, you see how intense I get when I watch games. And if I knew I had money, oh, baby, I might have to watch the game outside. And number 2, that's exactly how or why these athletes get online and be like, I don't care if your parlay hits. People be sending death threats. It's like, I am not begging you to put your hard-earned money and bet on me. Like, if you lose all your money, your rent money, don't come for me.
But you see, now listen, for me, I was not doing anything more than $50 in that day. I refuse. Like, I'll do my little $10, but that's because that's money that I was willing to spend. I don't like to give my money away, right? And those 2 times taught me everything I needed to know. But Shayla, also, let me give you this last parlay that really got me tight. Let me read this out to you, right? And you're gonna tell me why I shouldn't be upset. I got that Jalen, not Jalen, yeah, Brunson was gonna get 10 plus points. I got that girl, basically a whole bunch of people in the parlay. Zion, the one that I had left, the one, I said he gonna get 15 plus points. This boy got 12 and went to the bench. I was so tight. Oh my god, I punched the wall. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's not healthy for me. And
good luck to anyone that sports bets. I can't. I don't play with my money. I'm over here waking up at 2 a.m. and if they mess around and take my money, I'm gonna be pissed. So my weekly rundown is I have no rundown. My life has been the same.
We went out yesterday.
Yeah, it was fun. It was great. I concurred, is that a word? I just know that I'm a homebody. I prefer going out to do activities. That's more fun to me than going out clubbing. But that's just me. But before we wrap up our October vibes, I wanted to get Rebecca's reactions to these costumes. Okay, so we're gonna put this on the stage right here. So the first one is this boy who dressed up as a very well-known college football player. So I'm going to put this here.
Girl, I know you lied.
So that's number 1. I'm going to pause it here. Now, this upcoming clip is of DJ Envy's daughter. I don't know how old she is, but clearly she is too young for this costume. Let me play this, okay?
No, we're doing a video. She about to do the whole video.
Oh, listen, I can't take this. Look at this. Oh my God.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, indeed.
Friends mention he's a slut, he's a hoe, he's a freak. Got a different girl every day of the week.
Girl, before I let you go, I think the Travis Hunter one, this might be controversial, but I thought it was cute. To me, I'm all pro it. What I don't like is when people like do blackface and they, try to put this little white boy into dark skin, right? I love the Travis Hunter one. Now, DJ Envy's daughter, there are so many celebrities, singers, like all these things. Why did you need to put her in this outfit? And then to top it off, you guys do a whole music video, and I get it, it's music, it's not the real thing, but if you heard the lyrics to that song as a parent, why? Go ahead, Rebecca.
So the first thing, when I saw Travis Hunter, I believe his name. Mm-hmm. Yes. When I saw that, I busted out laughing because I was just like, I can't, like, and Shayla like put a scenario in my mind, imagining this like little kid's mother walking into a beauty supplies store to go buy a lock wig. Like,
I'm screaming.
How'd that conversation go?
Imagine being that customer service employee, like.
And my thing is, if he wanted to be Travis Hunter so bad, he ain't have to do the hair. He could have just put the jersey on with the shoulder pad.
I feel like it wouldn't have hit the same.
Girl, does this hit?
I thought it was cute. That's me. I know it might be an unpopular opinion.
That's crazy because usually Shayla's the one who's like, no, I just think that's like mad weird.
Okay. But compared to what we saw, though, the next costume.
Yes. Okay. So when I saw this video, the first thing I was thinking, I was like, does that little girl even know who Lil' Kim is? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't think she sat there and was like, Dad, can I be Lil' Kim for Halloween? I really feel like wholeheartedly that was his idea. And my thing is, right, he has
the moms or the parent, both
right, the parents, period. And my thing is, like, couldn't one of his other daughters be the Lil' Kim? Like, I just don't understand the thought. My question is more of the thought process. Do I think that little girl needs to be in that little one piece cutout little thing? No. And it's like, if you wanted her to be that or portray that, why not just put her in like a little pink little skirt and a pink tank top and let her say all what she had to say? I don't think that she had to literally. Do you know how many weirdos there are on the internet?
Exactly.
And granted, I get it. Everybody's gonna have their Halloween fun, everything like that. You saw what I wore for Halloween, but I'm also grown. I'm grown. I'm not.
Yeah. Comment down below how you feel about this costume. I personally don't like it, but again, it's not my child. To each their own. You do you. All right. So it is a very special week. Well, not this week, the upcoming week. By this time next week, we will know who our next president will be. That is insane.
I just want to say this real quick. Pray for your friends who work in the news industry. Y'all, we are going through it. Okay. This election season has put us in the dryer on spin cycle only. Like, I can't wait for it to be over.
Yeah, but I think it's crazy. Time flies. But if you haven't already seen, Donald Trump held a rally in Madison Square Garden. It's supposed to be such an iconic, venue. Everybody want to be at Madison Square Garden. And I think the goal of Donald Trump with this rally was to, stay in the news cycle and kind of like go out with a shebang at Madison Square Garden. But actually, it backlashed on him. There was a comedian who was supposed to be one of the warm up people, the warm up, what do you call it? Talent?
Like act something. Yeah.
Exactly. So it all backfired on him thanks to this. Well, there was a lot of crazy situations there, but one of the main things that triggered the backlash was this warm up comedian. Let's take a listen.
Too, just know that. They do. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Every day the Democratic Party looks more and more like a P. Diddy party. Heck yeah, it's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that, a lampshade? Look at this guy. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome. When it comes to Israel and Palestine, we're all thinking the same thing. Settle your stuff already. Best out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors. You know the Palestinians are going to throw rock every time. But you also know the Jews have a hard time throwing that paper. You know what I'm saying?
Girl, let me start off by saying, you guys already know I say this every single time. It feels like I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican. So I feel like out of all the racist things this man said, given, yes, he's a comedian. We know Dave Chappelle has said controversial things, comedians. I think that line has always been kind of wishy-washy. Like, what can you joke about? What can you not? I feel like on this podcast, we've discussed it. Dark comedy, what is it? What it's not. Here's the thing. If you are going to be a part of a political thing, this is not the time or the place. I also feel like people use jokes to kind of like shield their racism. My other point is, if you are not a part of the community, I feel like you have no right to poke fun, to joke. Because where was the white people joke? I don't know what he is, his nationality, if he's just like American, period. But like, if you want to be so funny and disrespectful, how about you joke about your own people? Because I'm sure there's white people jokes that the white community may not be so happy about. That is crazy. And Donald Trump and his party has, separated themselves from it. And they've been like, oh, like we had no idea. I don't know what he was saying. Listen, anyone that has worked in communications, you don't just show up to something like this. There has been several communication factors. I need to see what you're going to say. What's your history? All of these things. So I don't want to hear that, oh, we didn't know, or we don't associate ourselves with this person, because there was a lot of other people that also spoke, which I was shocked. Dr. Phil was there. And I didn't even know that Dr. Phil was like, gave off that type of vibe. But this comedian was not the only one that was spewing hatred and racism. Go ahead, Rebecca. What's your thoughts on that?
So when I was on the phone with Shayla, right, she was watching the rally. Me, you know me, I'm not about to
living life.
Yeah, me living la vida loca. I was not about to. I'm like, Shayla, I'm not about to make myself mad, because Shayla was just like, what? Like, Shayla's reaction the whole time, like, what? Nah, I don't like.
And actually, before it even went viral, remember I sent you? I was like, there's no way this guy said this. Girl,
he said it. On the mic, on the stage. So like for me, so when this whole like that snippet was cut, I saw a lot of people that I like that are Puerto Rican that I know, resharing and giving their own comments and like saying whatever it is, right? So it's just like, for me, I've seen the backlash that he's gotten, but what I also mainly want to comment and respond to is the amount of Puerto Ricans that I have seen who are like, well, it's a joke. Like, he didn't mean it like that. I'm like, he's talking about your people. Like, have some type of shame. Come on. Like, the amount, I have yet to see a Haitian person sit there and say, yeah, like what he said was completely fine. It's like, when you make jokes like this, right, in those type of spaces, it's like definitely one of those big read the room type of situations. If you are in one of those spaces and you are making jokes like that, you are showing what is allowed and what isn't, right? If you make those type of jokes in that space, the next person's going to go out and say, yeah, like Puerto Rico's this, Puerto Rico's that. They're going to sit there and feed off of that. They're going to feed into that. They're going to continue the same type of cycle and things that you are saying, with them saying that Haitian people were eating cats and dogs. The amount of people who ran with that and ran with it like they were in the Olympics, like, it spread like wildfire because you allowed for those comments to fester like that. You made a space where people thought that that's okay to keep reiterating as well, when people have consistently come out and said that's not true. When I'm scrolling on TikTok, I see people saying this is the Puerto Rico that they're saying is trash and everything like that. And like, yes, you may shed a light to how beautiful the country is, but that still is not going to outweigh the fact that there's people who are going to still talk about it and repeat things like that, because that's the narrative that was promoted on such a big platform.
Yeah, that's true. But I also want to say there's two sides to everything. Of course. Same way that there are Puerto Ricans that are still going to continue to support Donald Trump. Yeah. There's the same way that I'm sure there are Haitians that, even despite him saying that there's Haitians eating dogs and animals, are going to continue to support Trump and his party. The other point I did want to mention is that Nicky Jam, who is a big Latino star, who is Puerto Rican, he had actually endorsed Trump, right? Like, he showed up to one of his rallies, and Donald Trump didn't even know that it was a guy, because he first misgendered him and was like, oh, Nicky Jam, her, I don't know. He said some weird stuff, because clearly he don't even know no one that's Latino for real. He just uses them because he needs the voters. But anyways, he withdrew his support for Donald Trump because I don't know what this thing is that people think that Donald Trump is like the greatest businessman to have ever lived. But unfortunately, that is the truth. And I think
you said is the truth, or
no, they think that is the truth, but that's not the truth. The truth. I think Nicki Jam doing this set a good example of like, even if you are wrong, it's okay for you to come out and speak your truth. Of course, people are still going to be mad and be like, well, you shouldn't have endorsed him from the get, but it is what it is. Moving on to Young Thug.
I wanted to make this last point real quick. So to go to that point of people endorsing Trump, people endorsing candidates. Kamala, like just endorsing candidates, period. We said this last week. You're going to vote with the people who best align with what you believe, right? And I am a firm believer in if you stand for nothing, you will go for anything, right? But I also believe that two things can be true at the same time. Depending on what you stand for, shows what you will allow as well. So keep that in mind when you go to those polls and you do your early voting or same day voting. Keep that in mind.
Sexy Red came to her senses. She endorsed Harris today, apparently.
Wait, she had endorsed Trump? I thought Make America Sexy Again was just...
That's what I thought. But
I thought it was just her time.
According to the shade room, she said, don't tell me what to do with my coochie, in the most sexy red way that there is. We're gonna fact check this live on air with you guys. This is reporting live. She's so funny. Like, girl, what? It was like,
I didn't think that was real. For real. I thought she was just like trolling
on her. I mean, she could have also been trolling. Let me see if maybe she put it on her Instagram.
That don't even make no sense because
first of all, she was a nun for Halloween. I'm screaming. How do you guys feel about that? I don't think you should be a nun for Halloween.
Shayla doesn't think you should be any essential worker for Halloween. Because I said to her, oh my God, we should be like firefighters and cops.
No.
No. She's like, when I was a nurse, it wasn't a costume, it was my job.
It says Sexy Red did her part. Make sure y'all do yours and get out and vote. Okay, so maybe she didn't endorse Harris. See, that's how fake news happens. The Shade Room posted this. And this is Harris's face here.
Mm-hmm.
But literally all she said was, I just voted. Don't tell us what to do with our coochies. Oh, no. Yeah, the hashtag is Kamala for president. So,
you know, there's a lot of people who are from the trenches who talk about they voting for Trump. Sir, you're not even in the tax bracket.
I mean, I don't know that Sexy Red endorsing anyone is gonna,
I know, but
Sexy Red endorses Harris, so I'm gonna vote for. I don't think that's. But it's good to see people, because Sexy Red was one of the people that hopped on a podcast and was like, well, Trump was the one that was giving us the stimulus. Exactly. So anyways, Young Thug, let's go for it. I feel like I'm Trump with this. Who's free? Who's free, Rebecca?
Young Thug. Hey, Young Thug. When I found out that Young Thug was basically free, I literally screamed like I was Mariah the Scientist. You would have thought that was my man. The way I was like, stop it. Yeah. So of course, with everything, we gotta give y'all some back details. Okay, so Young Thug entered into a non-negotiated plea deal. Young Thug pleaded guilty to 1 gang charge, 3 drug charges, 2 gun charges in the YSL RICO case, and a judge sentenced him to 5 years jail time, which was commuted to time served. So in case you don't know what that means, that basically means like while this whole trial has been happening, he has been in jail. So that is the time that he has served. So that technically goes to that being checked off, right? Mm-hmm. So then he got 15 years of probation, 20 years of jail, 20-year jail sentence, which will be waived if he completes his probation. And he can't be in the Metro Atlanta area for the next 10 years with certain exceptions. He needs to go back to Atlanta at least 4 times a year to give an anti-gang presentation to children. And he is able to travel for work, but he can't do anything that can be interpreted as gang related. And I also just wanted to mention, he's not allowed to have any contact with the people that he used to have contact with when he was a part of the life, but he is able to make music with Gunna. So we're gonna get some tracks out soon.
Do you want to share with us what his lovely girlfriend, who has been very supportive, I will say.
She said, my man is home. So she said, thank you, God. Thank you, God. This is more than what we prayed for. We are so grateful. This is the greatest opportunity we've been presented with. And we are so grateful. Thank you, Judge Paige Whittaker, for giving us the opportunity to move forward with our life. Thank you, God. Thank you. And then she just went on. And then also at one of her concerts that she had, I believe it was in New York, she did like a whole little thing on stage where she was talking about being grateful and things like that. And she started getting emotional. And the comments, of course, what do? I scroll through the comments. I go through the comments and people was like, I really hope he don't embarrass her. And I really felt that in my chest. I do.
Because she has held it down. Because baby Mariah could have gotten anyone she wanted. Okay.
And you know I love me my Mariah the Scientist. You know I do.
Yeah.
Okay. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, I really hope he don't embarrass her or do her dirty, and he really take into account how she held it down, because like you said, she could have been thotting and bopping in these streets. Okay, she could have been in the streets,
girl, that is killing you.
Girl, you see, sometimes my tongue just don't fit in my mouth sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy for him. Like, as someone who is a loyal Young Thug listener, I'm ready for the music to come back. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm ready.
He's gonna have a whole lot of time to create music.
And I just want to say, before Shayla shows like some of the funniest moments that have happened during these trials, I want to say, like, every time like I watch the little snippets, because like sometimes these court cases were going on and like I'm like, this is mad long for no reason. The questions were stupid. I'm like, this case, like there's so many times where I've watched this, like the case like evolving, and I'm like, what a waste of like court time. What a waste of like the questions we're not questioning. I'm like, if you're gonna go based off people's lyrics, then baby, arrest half the people I listen to on my Apple Music. Like,
well, that is why a lot of people that you're into now have been in legal trouble.
Girl, don't get me started, because listen, when I saw that Young Thug was released, I said Lil Durk need to ring his attorney real quick. Okay.
Yeah, I do want to say this is a great example. I mean, I'm glad that the judge said you're gonna have to come back to Atlanta at least 4 times a year to give the kids, you know, a little lecture, a little presentation, because a lot of people, especially when you're young, you think being big and bad and being in the streets and drugs and girls, that's all that life is. But even the biggest and baddest will water down when they are presented life in prison, or you get your act together, or you put someone, you know, under the gutter, you become a snitch. Because I know people are always like, I'm never going to be a snitch. I'm never going to be a snitch. But baby, when they show up, when these prosecutor, judges, whatever, the police be like, it's either you speak up or you're going to be life in prison. All that big and bad quickly, you know, just
all it takes is one good offer and you singing like a canary. Okay.
Yeah. So like Rebecca said, this RICO case is still very much open because it's like YSL. So it's a whole organization, but it's just the Young Thug portion of it has been resolved. So it was very long, crazy, dramatic situations. And we're going to play just a little bit of it so you guys get a sense of it all.
Appeared at his third bond hearing in hopes of getting out of jail on bond. Judge Ural Glanville denied the YSL for the third time. There were then a lot of loud grunts and groans in the courtroom, particularly from Gunna supporters. The judge didn't like that response, so he delivered a stern warning.
And if anybody's in the gallery and you can't otherwise control yourself or otherwise you want to make any appropriate comments, then you can leave at this point in time. No harm will come or nothing else will occur. But if you remain in this courtroom and make any outbursts, I'll have you arrested.
Young Thug YSL RICO trial witness admits he's high.
I'm so high right now, y'all. I'm about to go to sleep on y'all here.
Thug handed drugs by co-defendant. A drug transaction between Young Thug and another co-defendant was caught on camera during the trial, and it shocked many. Khalif Adams walked over to where Thug was seated with his attorney and dropped a Percocet into Thug's hand.
Think about Thug as a criminal. But to Jeffrey, Thug had a different meaning. He would be truly humble under God.
He ate down with that.
The truly humbled under God. When that first came out during trial, I was like, there is no way. But listen, he truly is humbled under God because he is a free man. So maybe he was onto something, honey. That took me out. Truly humbled under God. I will never look at the word thug the same after this trial.
As you shouldn't. One of the things that, like, when I remember when this case was happening, first off, Woody is the funniest person they have literally interrogated throughout this whole entire trial. That man is he's a walking joke. Like, he's like, I mean, if I could say thug, I'm gonna say thug. Like, yo, he's just mad funny. But when I saw that the guy like had handed him the drugs in court, I said, baby, time and place.
Like, how?
And then the guard walking up to him and taking it out the hand was killing me, because I'm like, how'd y'all think this was gonna go?
Exactly. Like, if you were trying to be slick, honey, it was like, it couldn't be more obvious. Like, what else could what? Listen, you
like,
have to have some like cojones to think that you can get away with that right in front of everybody. Like, it's not like, you know, in a bathroom break or whatever, everybody there. What? Yeah, and you know what you in court for. So what?
It's like, who's randomly dapping people up in court? Like, come on now.
Like, be so for real. So anyways, if you're a fan of Thug, I hope you two are celebrating, and cheers to his new life with Mariah the Scientist. Okay.
Girl, I really hope he don't do her dirty, for real.
I know. We will hope and pray. So now we're going to talk about another topic that really sparked me. Okay. So everyone knows Shaq O'Neal, right? He is the well-known basketball center. Everybody love him. You know, if you don't know him from that, then you probably know him from TNT on Tuesdays, all the things, right? So he's the president. He's also the president of Reebok. He's like one of the basketball people, which is the shoe brand that AngelReese is signed to. So AngelReese and Shaq go way back. He's kind of seen like his father figure, her father figure, in a sense, like they're always together. He showed up for her at LSU, all the things. So he recently went on AngelReese's podcast, and of course, men, for some odd reason, are still stuck on what they feel is best for women and sports and what needs to happen in order for the game to grow. Take a listen to what Shaq believes is the answer to all of the WNBA's failings, I guess. Let's listen in.
Y'all do need to get paid more. Yeah. No reason why some of these bums making $200 million and y'all making what y'all making. I agree with that. Y'all just have to continue to play and, you know, continue to do what you do. But I have a solution for that, and nobody's gonna like my solution. I'm here. So let me explain why I came up with this solution first. In women's beach volleyball, let's just say the net is 10. For women, it's lower just a little bit. I'm not saying lower it to 9, 5, 9, 6, but just 9, 9.
Just so we can dunk?
Yes. No, see? And
I hate when men say that.
But listen, that's the only difference. The only thing is missing is the dunk.
I don't feel like it still would change.
I'm telling you.
I don't think so.
What? Bro, you dunking and getting, man, trust me in the change. Trust me in the change. I'm telling you, right? I don't think so. Bro, first of all, I like how y'all are starting to get into fashion. Bro, a pretty girl dunking on the rim, I'm watching that all the time. You laughing.
A man is not turned on by no woman that's dunking.
It ain't about being turned on. It's about seeing stuff that you're not supposed to see.
Nareem, I was muted. If I could roll my eyes 80 quadrillion more times, I would. Why are men stuck on this whole notion of putting the rim down? Newsflash, you over here saying that because the WNBA doesn't have this, they're lacking viewership. Well, you know what? The NBA's viewership has been down. So maybe they need to bring it up a bit more because the views are going down. Also, he was like, oh, a beautiful woman dunking. Da, da, da. Are you watching the sport for beautiful women or for the sport?
Do you have the clip of him also talking about AngelReese wearing her like the booty short?
I didn't even want to give air to that because he's just being hella disrespectful. All he's worried about is the looks instead of focusing on the sport.
So basically, right, as Shayla mentioned, Shaq was on AngelReese's podcast. And the reason why I was asking if she had that clip is because I had like to see women dunking, that's really not going to do much for me. Him saying that, like, he just chatting for real. Like, okay.
No, but he's not chatting. He means that. He said, imagine seeing beautiful women dunking. Especially if you dunking and you're a woman, what you want to see the body. That's exactly
like
what
Shaq saying that, like you mentioned, he's always on TNT. Like, they just be saying anything. And I feel like that I'm really not about to pay too much attention to that part because I'm like, all right, bro, like, go about your day, right? I wanted to really talk about like him, like the backlash that he got, right? That sparked a whole bunch of things, right? Where he was talking about how like AngelReese's like outfit, saying that like this outfit she wore on Wild 'N Out, she had wear like these like booty shorts type of thing, and he was like, yeah, like you should wear that. When like it's just mad weird. Mind you, Shayla mentioned like the way that Shaq is with Angel, it's very much giving father figure, it's giving uncle, right? When I saw that, like the uncomfortability that I got is because like I've seen those type of uncles, like those uncles who look at you and think of you in those particular way. And that is really, it's dangerous and it's scary, honestly. Right. And Shayla and I say this all the time. So I am so glad my parents raised me the way that they did. Like when I was growing up, I know like, oh, my parents were strict. My parents are this, my parents are that. No, they literally like them keeping me in the house kept me away from a lot of things, honestly. Right. And as someone who's like always been like very developed, like I said, I always say I've always been plus size. I've also always had a butt. I've always had thighs. Like I've always had the full figured look that guys love to deem as, you know, being desirable, right? So it's like when I saw that, like even I feel like Angel even is aware of that behavior. Because like usually if you watch other episodes that Angel has had in the past, like you see her outfits do not come to play. Like she put on some like a crop top, like cute pants, and you know, like it's very like it shows off all her assets. And this interview, literally she got her jacket zipped all the way up.
I got the clip if you want me to play it.
Yes, please.
I didn't want to give ear to it, but I guess we will.
Shayla always does this.
Oh no, this is not it. So this is what he's alluding to. This is it right here.
These are the.
Bro, imagine you.
I'm not imagining.
Let me finish. Imagine you in the same little shirt you had on at the Wild 'N Out show, dunking. You know how many t-shirts you gonna sell, cuz? You tripping.
Oh my
what?
God.
What?
Oh God.
The same little shirt you had on.
Okay. All right.
Bro, Billy the dunk.
So clearly, to me, it's also like a power dynamic thing. Like I mentioned, he is also a very powerful figure in her life. So she also has to balance, like I can't curse him out, which I feel like AngelReese is very well known for being like unapologetically, that's her podcast name. She will, you know, curse you out or let you know what needs to be said. But because Shaq also holds such a powerful, you know, a powerful dynamic in her life, she's probably has to, well, I can't say how I really feel, so I have to water myself down.
And I think that's what also sucks about it, because like outside of this, I've always like, I don't get me wrong, right? And I always say two things can be true at the same time. Do I think that Shaq is a kind person? Yes. Like you've seen how he is when he sees kids in the stores, like, which bike do you want? Like your mom is not going to pay for nothing, this, that, third. Like you've seen those acts of kindness from him, right? That does not discount him being a weirdo and a creep, honestly. And I feel like when you do have those like type of behavioral traits, people also like try to act like, oh, well, like, yeah, he might be a weirdo, but he does this. Like, you can't discount like things like that, right?
One doesn't cancel out the other.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Like, this is not a mathematics class. Like, if you are a weirdo, you are a weirdo. If you are a kind person, you do have your moments. That, like, it doesn't mean that anything's gonna cancel out anything. And it's not even just in this interview that he's had with AngelReese. Like, he's done other things in the past. Like, he literally dates like girls that are like 30 years younger than him, 20 years younger than him, doesn't date anyone his age. He always says that he knows that he's always gonna be single, this, that, and the third. And it's just like, you feed into this idea that like men of power, men of status are allowed to do anything, are allowed to say anything. No, people got to clock you. And like, I feel Angel in that situation because I've been in those uncomfortable conversations with people that are supposed to be the ones who help and push you. I've been in those conversations, and like, because it's like that dynamic is there where I'm supposed to look up to you, and like you're saying things like this, like, from this conversation on, the way that we will talk and the way we will be around each other will completely shift. But it's like, from that moment, until that conversation was had, that's why I'm like, oh, like, all right, like, okay, well, I gotta go now. Like, I'm quick to remove myself out of those situations. Like, I've been in those uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah. But I think the sad part is because of the power dynamic, she will always have to speak to him, right? Unless she cuts ties with Reebok or whatever. Like, they're going to be business partners. But to your point, I do think that now she will draw a line. And I mean, at least I hope, right? And she won't be as, probably as comfortable as she felt before when she was around him, because she thought this was like my uncle, my father figure. But then you come out clearly when he said that, oh, imagine you in these shorts, how much more you would sell. Clearly, I know that you're sexualizing me, right? So now it's never going to be the same, and it sucks. But unfortunately, like, it's just ridiculous that women can't just be women and be cool with people, because if you're too nice, then people take advantage. But now let's move on to another topic: NFL and politics. NFL and politics have always been very messy. And especially after the whole Colin Kaepernick situation, when he was blackballed, erased, eliminated from the NFL, not because he wasn't a good player, but because he spoke up for his community, right? He was kneeling down during the national anthem during a time where a lot of his people, Black people, were being hurt. You know what I'm saying? So that was seen as super political, and everybody was like, sports is not a place for politics. You just need to shut up and dribble. You can't speak out. Da 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 da. Pa pa pa. Well, apparently that is only related to, or that only matters when you are a person of color. Because guess what? Now this week we had a white player, and not only this week, in the recent, years, we have had a lot of white players speak up in politics, and they still have a job. So I have questions. This happened this week. An NFL quarterback. I think he's like a defensive something, but he plays for the 49ers, I believe. This is him.
Niners star defensive end crashed his teammates' post-game interview. You see it right there. And you see him rocking a MAGA hat.
Why did you take that opportunity to make what would appear to be a political statement?
I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think it's an important time.
But if you don't want to talk about it, why would you make such a public statement?
So when I saw this, the first thing that came to my mind was like, if you want to stand for something, stand for it. If you're going to sit there and be bold about something, be bold about it. You already did that on live camera, mind you. Obviously, like, the NFL is still debating on what he's going to be fined with, if there's going to be any type of like any negative backlash to him, basically, right? My whole thing is, if you already, like, I'm the type of person, like, if like my favorite phrase when people already don't like me and they're like, Rebecca, stop saying that. Like that person already doesn't like you. They already don't like me. I really don't care. I'm gonna keep talking. So it's just like, in that case, if you already sat there, went on camera, put your Make America Great hat on, and showed this big, like, where you stand when it comes to politics and like voting in this election season, when you get at that podium, keep the same energy. Don't say, oh, well, I'm just not going to talk about it because it's an important topic. No, speak. Say what you want. What happened? Don't go mute now. Mind you, you were bold enough to, mind you, a whole presser, that's not even presser actually, like a post-game interview that's happening with a player on your team that has nothing to do with you. You took as the moment to show where you draw your line in the sand. All right, so speak on that. Speak to that decision. Speak to that whole conversation that you sat there and had where you was like, woo, okay, talk about it. What you got to say?
Exactly. And I think just the thing that makes me more mad is the fact that you cannot, especially these higher ups, right? Because it's not the reporters, it's not the fans watching, it's these higher ups who, when it's a person of color speaking out against their community being targeted, it's a problem. But when white people or white athletes do it, it's like, oh, well, like they are just given, you know, a benefit of the doubt that we are just never given. People of color are never given the benefit of the doubt. And honestly, my thing is, if the consequence isn't you out for a few games or you out of the league like they did to Colin Kaepernick, then I don't want to hear about it. I don't. Keep the same energy for everybody. And like you mentioned, if you have the balls to interject into someone else's post-game presser, I need that same energy when you put up, because then it's like when you really got to speak up, like this is your chance, baby. Now the lights are on you.
Right. You brought the attention to you. You brought the attention to you. So keep that same energy. What happened now? Don't go mute. This is not a Beyonce challenge. Like, baby, speak up. Exactly. What? Scream and shout and let's hear it all out. Come on now.
So that got us a little heated. So now let's move on to the social corner where we talk about lighter topics. Okay, let's go.
Yes, y'all. So we are officially in our social corner where, as Shayla mentioned, this is where our lighter note topics are, things that we want to talk about but don't want to spend a whole 30 minutes or 40 minutes talking about, right? So the first thing we are going to talk about, baby, when I tell you, I don't want the people that's been making these statues for some of these celebrities, I don't want you making one for me. So we're going to talk about D Wade and the statue that was recently unveiled of him outside of the stadium for the Miami Heat. Y'all, do you have a photo of this?
Yes.
Who is that? And the thing that, like, so basically we've heard a lot from a lot of people on social media. Like you've seen like different analysts and everybody always asking like, who the heck is that, right?
Let me see if I can play it again. This is it right here.
And so when Shayla first said this to me, I said, who's that? She's like, what you mean, who's that? I said, Shayla, who is that? She's like, I know, it's terrible. I'm like, no, it's absolutely atrocious, right? And the thing that makes it even 10 times worse for me is the fact that D Wade, he approved it. you actually, where I'm thinking this is your first time seeing it. Nah, baby, you approved it.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I also felt bad because there's been a history of bad statue making. But then when I saw that he was right there with it every step of the way, I said, oh, I don't feel bad. And he even defended it and was like, oh, well, it's supposed to be an interpretation. And I'm like, well, they interpreted it wrong. I also saw like on ESPN, one of the commentators was like, these are one of the situations where we do need to let the robots take it away. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so pro-human, but for certain things like this, I think these are the things we should leave to the humans. And I do feel, we should leave to the robots. I do feel a little bit bad because as the artist, hearing so many people drag you has to be upsetting. But it's like, Buki, you already got your coins. So it is what it is.
See, I don't feel bad for it. Whoever the artist was, who made that statue, I do not feel bad for you. You need to hear that about yourself, because the fact that you will sit there and allow that quality of work to be a determination of what you can do, you need to hear things like that so you can get better.
Well, if you ask the person whose statue it is if they like it and they said yes, who are you to change it?
Baby, okay, but there's a value in public opinion. Okay, there's a value in that, right? And then somebody I saw somebody say on Twitter, they're like, oh, all y'all are dragging this man about his statue and stuff like that. They're like what would you have done? Like, what would your reaction have been if that was a statue of you and that's how it came to look? I would tell you to melt that thing down and make pennies. I do not care how disrespectful that is. What, y'all? You know how much I love taking photos of myself, and you know, when I have my own house, the one thing I want is a statue of me. If that thing does not look like me, we are going to return it. You're going to melt it down, and that melted metal you're going to give to a different artist, because you will not be touching it again.
Okay, well, that's not on that. Comment down below how you feel about the statue. That's not on that. The next thing I want to discuss is, I was going to show a video on this, but we don't have enough time. There's this family going viral on TikTok for the wrong reasons. When I first saw the video, I was kind of like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I was kind of like, I felt bad in a sense, or it was like relatable, right? It was this family, they have 4 kids, another one on the way. And she was kind of showing, I have a video here. She was kind of showing how she has to kind of like revamp her living room and dining room in order to fit her kids, right? But I think the gag, or what got people really going, here it is, the living room, she's setting it up, and she has her kids helping her. This is the part that's crazy. It's about to come up right now. This dining room area right here, they got the kids in the dining room. But the gag is that she and her man have the bedroom. Like, there's one bedroom where they sleep, but they're putting their kids in the living room and dining room area. So when I first saw this, I was like, oh, you know, like, unfortunately, that's a lot of people's truth. But of course, as social media works, somebody found the video that actually has a personal relationship to this family. And it turns out that the husband, their name is like the Jenkins family. The Jenkins family's husband had kids with another woman. And that woman spoke up. And she was kind of saying, like, he was never in my child's life, and he has all of this back pay on child support. People are dragging. The family is saying, why would you put your kids in the living room and the dining room? How do you want? Let's just play it. Whatever. This is the stepmom. Well, not the stepmom. She's not involved. This is the mom
to one of his children.
Exactly that. Let me zoom this in. All right. She went off, honey. Like, off. Let's play this.
This is the recent affidavit I received, right? So if you've been paying what you said you've been paying, Andrew, why do they need this?
This is recent.
Did you do it? Did you do it? Oh yeah, Stephanie. Do you want me to do you want me to send you the message that I sent you back in August with the affidavit? You fucking cluck. Do you? Oh, Andrew, do you want me to go back to my messenger? Do you want me to go back to my messenger? I could pull up all the shit. I don't care how many jobs you had. You never stayed at one. And when he was getting a little itty bitty bit, he wasn't getting much. I remember getting in my account that from the state of Oregon, they sent me 5 cents, nigga. They sent me 5 cents, nigga.
But when I saw the other side to the story, I said, actually, I retract all of my statement. I don't feel bad, because clearly this man didn't have money from the get. And I think we actually, like, I know this may be controversial, but if you cannot afford to have children, do not bring more children into this world, because you're setting them up for failure. You're not going to provide a good life for these kids. I don't care how much you say that it's not about materialistic things. If you have your kids, this is really getting me rattled up. If you have to set up your living room and dining room for your kids while you have your 1 bedroom, you should not be having more kids. I'm so sorry, because you're not going to be able to afford them a good life. And I'm not saying you got to spoil them, but you're not even in the life of a kid you've been had way back. This mom has to be in battle for you to pay your child support. And the last time she got it, it was 5 cents. And I'm really glad she said what she said. I don't care how many jobs you had. You never kept one.
My whole thing, so the first thing why I'm laughing is like the progression of anger from her. She was like, you cluck? First off, I've never heard that.
Right. Is that like an Oregon slang or something? I never heard that.
So, but then like as the video went on, like you just hear the anger in her voice, like her tone starts getting louder and louder because y'all really had her tried. She said, clock that T. Now, to go to your point, and I'm so glad you said it before me, because I was about to be like, hot take, if you cannot afford the lifestyle of your own and you want to sit there and put children into that mess, that is an unhealthy cycle, right? And I know people are like, oh, kids are a blessing, kids are this, kids are that. Granted, they could be a blessing when you try and figure it out for you and one. If you want to sit there and add 4 others into that cycle of brokenness, like, yes, you don't need like a lot of materialistic stuff to be able to raise a child, but you need to have something. You need to be able to provide something, right? And this is why, like, sometimes what irritates me when people are like, yeah, like we're going to start a family together. How? You can't even afford to buy like towels for the house. We have to be practical. We have to be realistic, right? As much as I say, me and Shayla talk about this all the time. I want kids, right? I want kids so bad. There's times where I go through heavy amounts of baby fever where I'm just like, I'm gonna just do it. But practically and realistically, I cannot afford a child right now. And I've always said I will not bring a child to have anything less than what I have had in life. If I can't elevate them to have the same thing as me or more, I'm not bringing a child into this world. If you already can't afford one that you can't even provide child support to, why?
Like, okay, if you're trying to be struggle city with 1, 2 max, but now you going on 5. And another point that I wanted to make is like, why are you posting this on social media? Like I remember this is so like nothing compared to what these kids are, you know, their life being on TikTok. But like, I remember when I was younger, I didn't have a car, right? So we had like this metal, I'll insert, well, you guys know, if you know, you know, little metal carts where you would roll to places when you didn't have a car that you probably bought from the 99-cent store. And when we would have to go wash clothes, we would put all our stuff into like that thing. And I would be so embarrassed, which like now that I'm older, it's like, girl, who cares? But I was just embarrassed by that. I'm like, oh, I don't want my friends seeing that I'm over here rolling a 99-cent, metal cart, which is like, girl, we all from the hood. We all from the ghetto. We all use that same little 99-cent cart. And it's so ridiculous. But I put myself in those kids' shoes. They don't have a say right now. When they are older, seeing your family's drama out there in the wild is insane. And I know the mom now is upset, like, oh, why are people judging? If you are posting days in a life, get on ready with me, you setting up your kids' sheet on the living room, like in the living room or in the dining room, you're opening up the door for people to judge it. Like, I don't care if you're posting it on social media. Well, we also are humans. Who told you to post that? Because once you post something on social media, you're opening the gates for people to judge it. When we post content on TikTok and Instagram, people judge, right? They be dragging us, but I can't be mad at it because I posted on social media. So it is what it is.
Space for that. Like, I opened the space for public opinion, right? And that's why, like, when we were talking about Dwayne Wade, like, statue, nothing like there's value in public opinion. unfortunately. And that's what she wants. You publicly put this out because you want to sit there and make commission off the fact that you showing your daily life. You're trying to make money, financial compensation off sharing your life. And now you want to sit there and say judgment. Unfortunately, if somebody decides to donate money for you, that is a part of judgment. If people want to speak negatively on that, that's a part of judgment. And my last point, and then we can get into our wind down. I remember I saw this one video a while back where like a guy was talking about women who don't want to have like kids like with men and stuff like that. Like, why would you sit there and try and impact their legacy? Not having the financial like necessities that you need to raise a family does not equate to legacy. What is the legacy? You gonna have them in a cycle of brokenness? Like, I'm confused.
And that's really what it is. It's trying to break the cycle of brokenness. If you don't have a say, okay. But if you're going on to your fourth kid, I'm so sorry. I think certain things you do have some sort of control over.
Like pop a plan B, get a birth control pill, something.
Well, I'm not going to tell no one to do that. But what I'm saying is, if you already know you cannot afford to raise a child, because yes, it is expensive, take those preventative measures. If you know where you stand against abortions, against the pills, then take the other necessary steps to make sure that you do not get pregnant because you are already struggling. Because I get it. Life is hard. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, everything is easy. It's not. So because of that, let us make sure that we do what we need to do to make sure that we get ahead in life. But now let's wind down, because that topic really did wind me up. So now let's wind down.
Yes, guys. So our wind down portion, right? So I wanted to, give just have us think and just talk and share what, you all know, me and Shayla have very different musical tastes when it comes to certain people. Mm-hmm. So one of the questions I wanted us to do today is, so I wanted us to choose 4 artists that we enjoy, right? And recommend one song from each that would be a perfect introduction for someone who's never heard of this artist before. So Shayla and I are about to pick 4 different artists. She has 4 artists and I have 4 artists. And we're going to choose, if someone has never heard of these artists, what would be the song you would recommend to them that would be the best introduction?
Can you go first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get my notes. I'm ready for this one. I've been wanting to do this question for a while, and Shayla's.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm gonna do this on the fly, honey. Okay. Go.
So the first one I came up with, right? So for Trey Songz, I think the best introduction to him would be Fumble. I fumbled your heart. Yes. What? My next one is Honcho. If you know who he is, you know who he is. 48 Laws of Power. That is my song. Okay. And I think for Mariah the Scientist, because we talked about her earlier today. For Mariah the Scientist, I would recommend Walked In. That is my song. Oh, actually, flag on the play. I changed the song. I think To You. That song, it just gives my chest some type of endorphins. You know what I'm saying? And of course, who would I be if I didn't mention? For Rod Wave, the song I would recommend for him is Poison.
Okay. This is very hard for me because I don't know. So I have 2. I'll say the 2 first. Adele, I would tell him to listen to Someone Like You. SZA, Supermodel. As you can see, I am a R&B girly, soul music vibe. I'm trying to see what else.
So do one for Snow Allegra.
I love Snow. I love Snow, but I want to get a Latino song. Aventura is a Spanish group. If you didn't know, now you know. I would say La Boda or Volvió la Traicionera. I know that's 2 songs, not one, but it is what it is. And for my last artist, J. Cole. Can you guess what song I'm gonna say?
Crooked Smiles.
There you go. Crooked Smiles, J. Cole.
Okay, wait. Now this is just a bonus one, right? Because Beyonce has given everybody some hits. If someone has never heard of Beyonce, what song?
Where do you live? That's the first question.
What song would you recommend to them as their introduction to her whole discography?
Oh my God, girl.
I know. Now I need to go through let me go through Beyonce because I don't even know.
Irreplaceable. That just was the first one that showed up on my thing. Crazy in Love. I don't know.
There's so many. Mama.
1+1.
I was thinking that.
That's awesome. But Lemonade was a very, very, very good album. I especially like the visuals of it. But comment down below if
choose the one song, Shayla.
I don't know one. I can't do that.
You got to. You can't. I can't let you out like that. Come on.
Well, since you're gonna have to, because we gotta wrap it up for real.
Okay, well, if I had to choose a Beyonce song that I think would introduce them to Beyonce, I think 1+1 definitely gonna eat.
Okay, well, comment down below if you are a Beyonce fan. What one song will make someone fall in love with Beyonce? I think all her songs are hits. So
yes, and definitely let us know, like, from the people that we've mentioned, if there's another song that you're like, you're crazy, like this is the song for real, right? But y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in to this week's episode, and definitely, like I said, comment below and let us know your thoughts on any of the variety of topics that we've talked about, and if there's any other topics that you ever want to hear our opinions about, definitely feel free to hit us up on social media. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, and the whole thing is toomuch SB, and that's it, y'all.
Yep. Make sure you also subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.